breath.
Hey folks, Eric and whatever guy, because it really is whatever for me. And do you folks want to know about Alabama Medical Marijuana Commission revamping this licensing process? You guys stick around, man, and I'll talk to you guys about that. As you guys know me, my name's Eric. I'm with Whatever Guy, and you just shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp cannabis, just what's going on around. We got a little bit of news to share first before we get started. As you guys know, man, I have been moving towards a location more towards Fort Walton Beach, but as it stands right now, we're looking at a location over in Pensacola, Florida. So if you guys want to see a lot of the flower, a lot of the THC vapes, the stuff that I use, stuff that I do on this channel, behind the scenes, you guys can run over to 1408 West 9 Mile Road in Pensacola. Stop in at Greenleaf Plus. I will be in that location quite a bit in the future. And as we move forward to another location over in Cantonment, Florida, we are going to be bringing you guys a lot of good THCa flower, a lot of the products that we use on this channel right here. Obviously, I used to have a much bigger channel than I have now, 1,500 to 2,000 videos up on the internet. So I've used these products a little bit, and I've got a little idea of what good products are out there. And those good products are actually going to be in those stores, man. So you guys stop in over Greenleaf Plus in Pensacola, Florida. Come in there, stop in there, holler at me, ask for the Whatever Guy, because I'm usually sitting in the back. But we've got a lot of products in there, and we've got a lot of products coming up. And then obviously at glplusco.com, which will be our new website. We've got some products up there now, some THCa flower. But as our stuff starts moving forward, you'll see some more THCa vapes. So that link in the description, guys, is going to change here pretty soon. That link in the description will be my link. I won't be sending you guys to anybody else. You will actually be buying that stuff from me. So you guys check it out, man. Stick around, and hopefully we've got some exciting things coming forward. All right, so moving forward, talking about this Alabama medical marijuana licensing debacle, as we've called it since 2019, the advent of medical marijuana. For those of you that don't know, man, there's been a lot of issues going on with the Alabama medical marijuana. There's a lot of people on either sides of the fence. Obviously, you've got the manufacturers that are on one side that are not happy about the licensing process, the unfairness of it. And then obviously you've got the patients on the other side that need this medical marijuana. So we need to get this process going. And as it stands right now, we've had some issues moving up to this point. We've already awarded the license twice. I think once on June 12th and once on August 10th, or don't quote me on those dates exactly, but I know in June and August we awarded the licenses. I think we awarded 21 in June. We awarded 24 in August. All of those have been rescinded. And as we move forward, you will find out there's been a lot of lawsuits, and the argument has been that basically, they felt like, or a lot of these manufacturers felt like, that these AMCC, the commissioners were able to speak to people that actually got their licenses, and for those of us that weren't able to speak to them, we didn't get a license. And so there was a lot of inconsistencies going on. And so I'm going to flip over to an article over here at Marijuana Moment. We're going to check it out and take a look at it. This is this is over at Marijuana Moment. Now, each of the major publications has an article out. If you go over to MJ Biz Daily, they've got one. Ganjapreneur's got one. This was just the one that explained it a little bit easier for me to understand. For those of you that don't know, I don't normally come out with news. This news came out on Thursday. I don't normally come out with the news like right away. I normally take a couple days to think about it, stew over it, and I want to put this news in verbiage in terms that you guys can understand. Because if you go to those meetings, man, a lot of that legal verbiage and stuff like that is too hard for us to understand. And we're just normal everyday folks out here. We want to understand what's going on with the process. And so that's my goal in all of this, is try to get you guys to understand exactly what's happening. It says the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission adopted a new applications and licensing rules Thursday after months of legal disputes amid stalled settlement negotiations over the commission's evaluation process. The rules adopted by the commission will allow the commission to keep scores it gave to prior applications, but give applicants the chance to outline deficiencies. Applicants will have the opportunity to present their proposals to the commission in a public meeting. Now, let me just back up for this. Let me just back up one step for this and digress just a little bit. Now, previous to the meeting, 1 week previous to the August 10th award, the second awarding of the licenses, there was a motion that was brought forward by Ms. Skelton on the board, the AMCC board, and she presented a motion that was basically allow these commissioners to sit down with each of these applicants and have a discussion with them and talk about the little inconsistencies that were going on before we got to the point where they would make the rules and actually award these licenses. But Stephen Stokes, he was on the chair at that time. Now, he was actually in a little bit of a lawsuit at that time, but Stephen Stokes was the one that actually shot that motion down. They could have handled this before They presented or awarded those licenses a second time. They could have done this, but Stephen Stokes shot that motion down. And then we fall forward to the August 10th meeting. In the first 30 minutes of that August 10th meeting was them espousing how well or all the good things that Stephen Stokes did up to that point. Stephen Stokes didn't do anything for the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission. What he did was he messed it up. Now I'm going to try to clean my language up. I usually say he effed it up, but I'm going to clean my language up a little bit here and say that Stephen Stokes basically messed the process up. This was the guy that was on the AMCC board, and he was also on the board at the University of South Alabama. He was obviously they seeded these applications out to the University of South Alabama. It was a conflict of interest for him to sit on both boards at the same time. And like I said, right before he was able to be pushed out of the commission, he made this decision to kill this motion by Lori Ms. Skelton to actually meet with these applicants. And now we find out after the fact, this is exactly what they're going to do. Like, this is exactly what is going to solve the issues coming forward. Their plan is to get all this stuff done. For those of you that are not aware, the only people in the AMCC commission that are actually paid members, I think there's one or two paid members on the board. The rest of those people are actually elected officials. So as we move forward and we start having all these meetings and stuff, those AMCC commissioners that they're obviously won that position or they're in that position, they're going to have to be at all these meetings, and obviously they're going to have to set their business interests aside so that they can get this done. So let me just address that also. So it's not only the manufacturers and stuff that are out a lot of money, but these AMCC commissioners are going to be under a lot of pressure too to get this going, especially since they brought forward emergency rules and they're going to try to get these licenses issued by December. So that means, guys, they've got 90 applicants, and what's going to happen is between now and, well, actually, I think Thursday they've got a hearing. They're going to find out what Judge Anderson has to say. But once that happens, if it goes the way that the AMCC wants, from this point forward until December, there's going to be a lot of meetings. There's 90 applicants, guys, and they're going to have to sit down with each of those 90 applicants, or at least the ones that didn't get a award license, which would be 54 of them. They're going to have to sit down with those folks. And if you talk about the small inconsistencies, people like Antoine Mordecan from the Cannabis Black Caucus Commission, they are residents of Alabama, but they had an issue with their licenses. And the way it was they put in these applications and they only had a 10 megabyte cap. For those of you that are not aware, 10 megabytes is not very much. I just sent a video to Marty Shelper the other day that was 13 minutes long that basically was 252 megabytes, and I couldn't send it to her. I had to send it to her in a Google Drive link. So these manufacturers, these people that wanted to, these entrepreneurs had to put all the information they wanted to put into a 10 megabyte cap. They were only allowed to put a certain amount of information into there. And when you get to looking at it from the other side, you find out that people like Antoine Mordecan that are actually legacy growers and people from Alabama that have been 100% from Alabama, it made the application look like they had inconsistencies with their legacy or with their residency requirements. And so those issues will be worked out in these meetings that the Alabama Cannabis Commission has coming forward. Because here's the deal. Anybody should have got a license in the whole process. It should have been Antoine Mordecan. And if any of those, those members sitting on the board, and that's the other thing too, it's almost like anybody sitting on the board had no issue, knowledge or anything about what was going on in Alabama, because anybody that was sitting on that board should have known by looking at Antoine Mordecan's application that he's from Alabama. Like he's been shouting and screaming in Alabama for a long time. He's a really good dude. But the fact that nobody on the AMCC board was able to look at his license and rectify his residency requirements before they ever got to this process is a completely crazy situation to me. This is Aretha Dix, a former Alabama Medical Cannabis Study Commissioner member who was denied a dispensary license, said that the meeting that allowing applicants to present their business proposal to the commission gives her hope. You get to see our faces. You get to see the compassion in our face. You get to hear the compassion in our voice, and you get to see where we come from. Antoine Mordecan, a CEO of Native Black Cultivation, a hemp company that wants to move into medical cannabis cultivation, said his application was flagged because of a residency deficiency. Mordecan said that his company is 100% Alabama owned, and they showed over 30 years of consecutive residency in their application. So it goes that goes right there, guys. Like of all people, of all the applications that put in, like you should have been able to look at Antoine Mordecan's and realize that there was no residency deficiency for him. That dude's never even left Alabama. Like he's a completely doing business in Alabama, and he loves Alabama, and he's going to continue to do business in Alabama. For those people that were sitting on the board, like if you had no clue who Antoine Mornican was before you ever got to this process, you were lost in the mix. Like you were fucked up from the very beginning. Like you had no clue. Like you've really got no clue what was going on if you had no clue that Antoine Mornican himself was not from Alabama. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. And the fact that we're moving forward with these meetings is going to allow Antoine Mornican and people like Boral Hemp, Green Phoenix, an opportunity to step forward and have a discussion with those folks and at least look them in the face and give them an explanation as to why we weren't able to get the information that we wanted to in that little 10 megabyte cap that they put on. I'm happy that they're going to be able to offer us the opportunity to come and speak about the rationality of why we did what we did, and also let them know what our purpose is behind everything. Let's scoot down a little bit. Applicants will also be able to address pass-fail issues identified by the AMCC and submit exhibits that were previously limited to 10 megabyte file size constraint in the application portal. Applicants will be able to contest a pass-fail mark on their applications, but will not be able to bring additional information. Additionally, the procedures limit the information applicants may redact to personally identifiable information, trade secrets, or competitively sensitive information, which Wilkerson said was the initial intent. The rules give applicants 10 days to submit a new redacted copy of the application. For those of you that aren't aware, if you go over to the amcc.com and take a look at all the applications, what you'll find is you can't see an effing thing. You can't see anything. Like you can't see their name, their address, where they're from, any of that. All of that stuff was redacted by the people that put the applications in, and that wasn't supposed to be the process. The process was supposed to be open out where everybody could see it. And when people like Verano from Chicago put a license in, we would be able to see that they're not from Alabama, and we could just push those people to the side. And that's exactly what happened in the lawsuit the other day. Verano was one of the vertical licenses that were issued in June. August 10th, they did not get a license. They sued the AMCC Commission saying that they could award the license, but they couldn't rescind them. Judge Anderson fought against, decided against them, and Verano is out of the mix. For those of you that aren't aware, this is supposed to be Alabama first. Alabama companies that were supposed to benefit from this. You weren't supposed to be able to be tied to an address in the Netherlands, tied to Verano, Chicago. This was Alabama businesses. You couldn't come to Alabama, start, open an office up and say that I'm from Alabama and go ahead and get in this Alabama cannabis. We want Alabama people running Alabama cannabis. Wilkinson said the commission agreed to that redactions were inconsistent. Asked why the commission didn't address the inconsistent redactions earlier, Vaughn said after the meeting that he didn't know if he could address that, as the commission kept at arm's length in the redaction process. And they supposedly the AMCC members kept all the applicants at arm's reach. But I'm telling you, there were conversations between the AMCC members and some of the people that were awarded licenses in the first and second rounds. Okay, so what this is going to do is solve that issue. Now they're going to have to speak to every one of the applicants. All the applicants are going to have an opportunity to get in front of these commissioners and have a conversation with them. The redaction, and here's the other thing too. He says he asked why he couldn't address this. That is, the commission kept him at arm's length, because the reason why he can't address it, because like I said before, prior to this, Stephen Stokes was the one that shot down the motion that would have allowed them to speak to each one of these applicants before the August 10th meeting. And like I said, then when they got to the August 10th meeting, they espoused all the good shit that Stephen Stokes did, but Stephen Stokes didn't do anything. He messed us up and he set us back several steps. And now we're actually going to do what we should have done a week prior to the August 10th redaction of or awarding of the licenses. The commission also adopted changes to the investigative hearing process for denied applicants. Previously, applicants denied a license had to pay a licensing fee up front. It would cost an integrated facility $50,000 to have an investigative hearing. For a denied dispensary like Dix's, it would cost $40,000. Applicants won't have to pay the fee to request an investigative hearing in the new rules. Dix said that gives her the opportunity to focus on services she provides without having another financial obstacle. In addition to the licensing and application fees, she said they should have to pay to be heard in front of the commission or to provide an explanation. For those of you that aren't aware, all these people that put these applications in had to have everything in place where they could get medical marijuana on the shelf within 60 days before they even put the application in. So that means they had to have the buildings, the equipment, the employees. For those of you that were going for integrated licenses, you had to have shit like armored trucks. You had to have all of that in place before you even put a $150,000 fee in to put an application in. Okay, that's what you guys don't understand. That's the argument on the whole board for all of you out there that are listening. There are people out there in this space that have actually put their homes up. They have mortgaged their homes to buy the equipment and buy the buildings and pay the employees that they would have to have in place before they even spent the $150,000 to put an application in to get told no or yes. Okay, so they had to have all that in place. Will Somerville, an attorney representing Alabama Always, which sued the commission in June and August over alleged procedural inconsistencies, and in July over the appointment of former chair Stephen Stokes, said that while he had to reserve judgment since he has not read the rules personally, they sound promising. I think trying to address and get the commission to address the issues that we applicants have had with the process. So without having read the rules, I think it's a step in the right direction. I personally, I'm not sure how this is going to go forward. I like the fact that the AMCC has now got to knuckle down and they've got to actually do their fucking job, as opposed to before just meeting with their friends and giving their friends licenses. This will give everybody an opportunity to get into a closed room, have a meeting, sit down and look people in the eye and have a conversation, and at least get some of these things sorted out. And for those people out there like Green Phoenix, like Alabama Always, like Off City Labs that do not get a license in the first round, understand that they're also gonna bribe you on the other side and let you know that obviously as this moves forward, more licensing will be coming out. But my question to you guys is like, for those people out there that spent money and put these mortgages on their homes so they get this equipment, get this building so they can even put this license in, what are they supposed to do in the meanwhile? They still got to make those mortgage payments. They still got to do all this stuff. So these people loved medical marijuana, wanted to get medical marijuana to the patient's hands so bad that they were willing to mortgage their homes to do this. Okay, that's what the issue is all the way around, and I hope that at some point we can get to a point where this will be a fair process. Their goal is to get this done by December. I pray that they can get that done, but I will say that like I said, a lot of those AMCC members that sit on the board, there's only 3 or 4 of them that actually get paid. The rest of them actually run successful businesses, and they were appointed this right here. So they're going to have to make time to meet with all these people, time out of their day, time out away from their businesses, time that they should have spent prior to this. We could have had all this sorted out prior to the August 10th meeting. But having said that, I hope everybody gets a nice understanding of what's happening. And if you guys have any questions, please hit me in the comments and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Love you guys. See ya.